Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Dutiyam Api Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Dutiyam Api Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Dutiyam Api Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Tritiyam Api Buddham Sharanam Gacchami Tritiyam Api Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami Tritiyam Api Sangham Sharanam Gacchami Shastai Bhagavan Sathagato Arahan Samyak Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanna Sugato Lokavidanuttara Purushamya Sarthi Shastai Deva Manushyanam Buddho Bhagavan Shri Jin Shakya Muni Namaskaromi Pujayami Sharanam Cha Gacchami Shastai Bhagavan Sathagato Arahan Samyak Sambuddho Vidya Charana Sampanna Sugato Vidya Charana Sampanna Sugado Lokavidanutara Purusha Damya Sati Shasta Deva Manushyanam Buddho Bhagavan Shri Jina Shakyamuni Namaskaromi Pujayami Sharanam Chakachami 会那个社会这边这样的，上不了也越来越上去，所以说就越来越不了就。하나 둘도 이제 넘어져 봐. 이제 이제 예만 나에게도 이제 중문하는 얘기는 다 저그녀랑 해주다마 통제에도 나게 줘도 강내 대전으로 와서 가보면 봐게 봐. 제발면 봐. 남에 봐. 오면 봐. 그러면 봐. 나는 주변이 이제 봐. 서로 얘만 아바데라 정도 가게는 아니는데 나와도 이제 남겨주는 뭐 고담자라 정 아니래요. Good morning. Good morning. Something wrong here, I think. I didn't chama this give you, sir.
Maybe I have a little cold today.
The blessing of behind both guy. Then, and shopping yeah. 가슴 얘기한 소리야 탭지 뭐를 시험에 고요신경 디고리아 얘기한 소리 너도 이제 시도도 얘기하네 아무것도 없어.
So first thing this morning, yesterday I introduced to you a small booklet about the protection of the environment. Maybe I would like to say a few things about that.
맛이 와. 나는 유산은 니 그 유머럼 돌이야. 고요 순교된 제외 거래야 계속 시아충래.
Last year at Kajumelam, I had a chance to say some. No? You can't hear? Hello? Last year at Kajumelam, I had a chance to give some instructions, some talks about the regarding the protection of the environment. In this book, I have raised 5 points regarding the protection of the environment in this book.
당보디 신앙 순교 니버디 추인중공 순교 소경체.
First is the protection of the forests and trees, plants. Second is the protection of the sources of water or the rivers.
테네 더 르르네 융다 스모 융다디디
Then thirdly, wildlife protection.
시버데 다 가서가 기니디디 가서에 구주 되게 되래야 구주 다주 가르치다 아니 이버디
And the fourth is about the waste management, and the fifth is about the climate changes. So, for people, for human beings, as well as for all the animals, the life is the most important thing. And regarding this, both in India and Tibet, I've said that we try to, all the monasteries especially in Tibet, there are generally around the monasteries, usually there are lots of trees. And before we knew about the environmental protection. Some places the forests were cut, and also sometimes the trees were sold, it seems. And now, as a protection and also to prevent this, we try to prevent the cutting of the trees around the monasteries, and also to plant more.
이번에는 지출 중공수 교차 대한다 표에 에너지 가수에 왜다 실버츠 third pole 마세 pole 사지마 취는 다디 pole 숨버들에서 안다는 신지 히말라야 리귤리아 예데베 디규추 거리서마다 거리다 주디디 애니 에시아기 미베 사야만베 손에 대로 치요하네 드레이두산 데줄이 양에 벌동아지 순교 제과한테 아주 가서 로마비厕所에 도대야 내려온 차리요 드레이두스 되들이야 박조 샤량 아주 응고 차다 난 다나시 에메지 중국인담도 배리야 답변은 배다 강화로 지도부지 처음이미나 초시리야 지 강강한 수업에 주 시청부 신도냐 도착되어 디녀원의 유예대회 고모모 샤야네 나다나시 나도나지 자나래야 마 법정에 초망부지 아주 배는 수용구에 인두산 되게들이야 아주 방송 미쇼와 차다 되게 방송 미쇼 성래 되게 계속 샤차돼요.
And regarding the source of the water or the rivers, the Tibet is very important in this case. the scientists these days say that Tibet is the third pole. There's so much ice there that it is like the third pole. And especially the Himalayas. In the Himalayas, there are so many ice and so much snow. And the whole kind of Himalayan region in Tibet is the source of water and also thereby the source of life for millions of people throughout Asia. So therefore, it is very important to protect these sources of water and to prevent getting these waters polluted. And also, the Mount Kailash is regarded as the beginning source of the 4 great rivers, mostly come to India. And then also, there are many rivers from Tibet going into China. And all these rivers have become the life-giving source for most of the people in a very big area of Asia.
Today, Rida Sumjubcha Palam Yes, and Roshan Alolia, Pelia Anji Tuxi Bagua, Tigi, Tanduja, the Shore. That the idea would do Golomans, Pajeta Pebeji Pebitame Tanduja, in Europe, I made a Samsung. 근데 내가 그래줘야 근데 준비는 이주가래 맞아. 보시죠. 중토요아래. 리뉴산 뒤처에 단 너네지. 에시에게 따당 식당 되게 가서에 그래서 지금 자체는 좋아. 그 자체는 좋아. 인간 성례예요. 안라와도 다 텔레비전에 봐지지. 마르세 방안데 비제 잡아야 알았습니다. 그래서 당 아주지 초진에 참바다 인지 그네랑 기체 에너지 가서 냠렌싱이 做냠렌싱이 비차네. 마르세 대 아주 자원의 방법도 비미네. 다들 대랑 아주 삼도 당과에 차요. 도나체가 아주 지금 낭매 체제 샤에 로란 세배왕기 안에 샤사르 낭매 당사 제가 매를 차대요. 디나는 초지에 딱 차수 박수자 샤에 된도 심지만 못 쏴 디기 다 중국 망보지 배주 당국으로 뒤주체도 안에 배 가서다 중국 망보지 배주 당국 여인들 텔레데네 구요를 된데 쇼견 첨부 되게 어려들이 민주사들이 유지하는 데는 아주 이제 상당히 쳐야 하는 정도.
And about the protection of the animals, a few years ago in Tibet, it was a custom and fashion to wear skins of tigers and leopards and things like that as decoration. But that, because of the instructions by His Holiness, now there is not very many Tibetans who wear this. It has become much less. And unless they are forced to wear them, there is not much interest of wearing them. And I think this helps a lot to prevent the extinction of these animals like the tigers and some kind of leopards in Asia. And also these things, there's a connection with this to vegetarianism. that even if we cannot completely become vegetarian, it's very important that we have to think about it in connection also with the environment, because when we have to rear these lots of animals like pigs and other things, other animals for consumption, then it is also very clear that lots of natural resources have to be used to feed these animals, and so therefore it has a direct impact on the environment as well.
Tene shiva deda kini golia guju jadre pasida peba goba khalia digi golia tadabado loso yabaji temebe ni ju ma sha cha de chesa ti ju tholia kashwe gomba chone bo zu che anji tende ma zu zu chue le ya tene ji kuyu li ya zang de cha da kini li ya kasho deng ji cha ro di go zu che kali kali che ne ha da phe zo ru ge be ji himale ji gyu gi nang bo che kuyu sun gyu gi thole ya ji mi bi sang bo che je go ru chi che sun gyu che thya ro ru che kuyu le zang de che thya.
And then fourth is about the waste management, and this is some kind of a movement. It is found out that the monasteries do not have so far a very good kind of training or culture in this case of waste management. So by giving training and kind of example to these, starting with the monasteries first, and then going into the public, and maybe is Tibet, and then Himalayan regions, and from there, all Buddhists, they should try to, start to become an example in this case of waste management.
And namshin jundo ta namshin jundo zamli ya shushim jodin yara habar to zamling ki thogang Himalaya rigyu da an pe zo ri bdi de jiu zambuli gi cha zhe de yu ce le da nga ha zi ji gyo ya song de da mang bi gyo ya de ni zan ti gyun zan de ne da de gi da namshi gi gyun do di zambuli ne ya den den gi ha shui gyun do chim bu chi sa so yong ya zambuli to le ya yue bei jian wen yong la gyun do chim bu chi da ye so ru jie yin de sang a zui den den gi ka shui di zui che do an ji ka shui ben de ji nyam ji ye so ge an di zui to le ya den ka shui ji luan di na ma re ku zu di to le ya ane ka shui deng jin qia ge che xue ba di zui to le ne ya a zui ji ka shui ji ka shui di zui jie shu qin qia ro tu ya da an su su ge ge ne ka che to ya yu di sang lo ane ji qia ni bo da ji don don na ji a zui du ji sem jian na de wa de yu de de bo jiu ji ji mo lam zi jie de ya ne ta ri a zu ji sem jian tam ji de wa de yu de de bo che tu ya ji gi ho ge bu sa wa ro gin chi ji po yong ge yin de sa ti du a zu da qi ge dong tu yun xie de de ba de dong ti du da ye wo zi ma da ji ge tu yun ya be sem jian tam ji de wa de yu de bo ju sa de su su sam su da su cha ji de bi mi de shuo ge ya ma什么东西
And the fifth point is the climate change, and it is found out that there is a very strong, important crisis or change is going on, and it is in the whole world, but especially in the Himalayas. I'm told that the change is going much quicker and much stronger in the Himalayan regions. Some people told me that maybe about 5 times more quickly the change is happening in the Himalayas. So therefore, these effects, these kind of climate changes are affecting the world, the whole world, and everybody in a very strong way. So therefore, there is also the United Nations. I've heard that the United Nations is doing something strong this year, making some plans, following those instructions or those examples or those leads for us also, and also from our own side, from our individual sides, if whatever we can do, I think it's very important that we should try to do, because we always say, may all beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. But then when it comes for us to do something, to take the responsibility for that, then that time, we find out whether it's really truly that we are saying these prayers from our heart, or actually we are putting that into action, or it's just something that we murmur through our mouth. It's just, it should not be something like that. So when we have this chance and there is to do something for the happiness of the sentient beings and the causes for that, then we should try to work on that. So it's a little bit, that's about the protection of the environment. This morning, I have a little bit of headache, so therefore maybe I will start with some questions and then see what happens. The first question is, listening to His Holiness teachings on CDs and DVDs, has the lung been received? Has the practice instructions been received? Did you hear the questions? No?
No?
You didn't hear the questions?
No?
Yes or no?
Yes.
No. When you listen to the CDs and DVDs of His Holiness, does it mean that we have also received the lung, the reading transmission, and have you received the practice instructions or not?
And also the empowerment. Don't need. 다들 그랬으라거든. 다들 내 도스와 전주선 지당이 빨리 드린다고 지리야. 양소리야. 就缺龙的缺血压龙血压了，现在讲的天儿 internet 举些怎么呢？天儿，他说他 live 什么呢？把灯有，这里就是啥呢？这里的年纪像这部分忙不起，把这年底，但你那样。 오늘 전에 청아 제시하고 때 근데 저랬다. 그지? 청아 최동 안에 배 드린데 가서 수주 시하다 그지? 경항주마다 지 되게 되면 년간 참으로 누가 아니었어. 봐. 그래 이제 참 개치슈디 라마디에 디체동아 디체도 때 라마디 미기 통으로 못 통으로 간다. 그때 급디 빌려 되면 디체도 마셈 때 로마티는 급디두산 태가라 농슈의 셈때 윤두산 아니 바지 농구 되는 거를 추기 위해서 아니 셰마도 지당 거다 DVD VCD 되게 상계 걸도 여마로 와 드리두산 나한테 타주 근데 저 얘기상 고수 다 이미냐 예사버리야 바지 강사 카실리 개버지 그랑 카실리야 고쳐 시베르스 고바 미세예비 셰마도 퍼블릭 네트워크야 고쳐야 돼 그래서 갈아 하면 됐어
Like for instance today I'm talking to you here is giving an instruction or a long or whatever and then at the same time maybe it's also going on the internet, and so therefore lots of people are listening to what's going on here. Now, the question is, you know, when a teacher is teaching, and then there are kind of students who are listening to that teaching. So if the teacher is thinking that this is, you know, where I am teaching, or where it's meant to, whether the teacher actually sees them with his eyes or not. And there is a kind of a purpose, a deliberate kind of intention. And then I think it could be okay, it could be that they receive it. If there is a deliberate, like the teacher is thinking that I am teaching to these people, and the students also taking part that, whether the teacher is actually seeing them or not. But if it is not that, then I'm teaching here, but you know, people are listening everywhere that, you know, kind of happen to listen. This way, whether they get the transmission or not, I don't know. Because these CDs and DVDs were not there during Buddha's time, and this is something new, so I cannot exactly say how it works, but I think that if there are deliberate, you know, intentions and things like that, then for some particular people, I think can get transmission through media and things like that also.
셰마도 라메 마치 지두산에 라메 잔 하마고 로마지 롱토. 야 로메 저 가르쳐야지. 야 로메 잔 하마고 라메 롱낭 생에서다. 되게 충분히 하고 싶은 거 봐. 근데 인도산 대단 용서만해 아버지.
Otherwise, you know.
제가 드린 인도산에 약속 처분이나 오늘 전에 체동안에 쉬는 약속이었어.
A lama gives a lung and you don't know who is receiving, and then the student is receiving lung, but you don't know from where it's. So nobody knows who is getting and who is giving. So I think it doesn't work that way, you know. I think there should be some kind of a connection that the Lama knows that these people I'm giving lung, and also these people know that I'm receiving it from them, in this time. So some kind of, connection has to be there. Otherwise, it doesn't seem to work.
Kana Thomasari useless. Chumada Lendan dead, and Thomasari useless. Thomasana, long to Hakala.
Even, looking at the, the question, the questioner seemed to have a doubt, whether it's possible or not. If there is a doubt, then usually it doesn't happen.
Okay.
The second question, His Holiness, how the Buddhism understand the fear? Where does it come from? How does it grow in our mind? And how can we stop this?
I don't know which kind of fear.
There's a kind of continuation. Fear? Sometimes looks like we are attached to something not so good though very harmful, or we can not stop to think in affective emotion. The English is, I think it must be written by a foreigner, not English speaking.
Courageous.
The Yembatin Kakarindu, fear is it, Jingo.
Yes, I'm thinking as a Jisola Tawe, Jisola Tawas, Sumiolas. Pumbujimes on a data Tawas. Jisola Tawasa de Pumbu Karsue Pumbunga Tenen Pumbunga Chobajilia, dying savage. Sidanga Pumbunga, Mimabuchigi, Pumbunga regenerated Tamartin, Chopote, Daris. The send at Mamu on the other than Pumbunga Chopa, Ribun, Dasa, Ribunduchi, sometimes you son. Tindijibe, Dabe, Rigi, Dodo, Gongondas, sometimes you son. Tiniji Jidachu, Jidan, Sanayabe, danger of Dodo, the Serjarota. Jikazuadaji, Nala, Nalabe, Posari, Nasari, some sort of G. Casual, danger of the Chakushu Serjar in Dusan, Tijuzella Dana, Jigadi. Da, Ribu, Ates Chupachipa, as Zindia in Dusan, Tijuzella Dana. When Jida Gad, their love young, Jida Gad, the Shucham, Kaisata, Susu, Tanzi Ate, the Shucham, Mujibes or Dada. The name is Zella Dene. Nazu Zo Da Jibasa, Kanitan, Young Arsana. Today, Tanzi, you have a da, the doctor of Chicago, Juyavcha. Tati Tidijin. Tanzi Shucham in the sun, tell a dene, on Jishitama, Tibe, Latoban, the short of one of the day, 10 not of one day, that Tanzi Shucham will search. The day you sign a tongue as a Kaldeji, or the day, Jisola, Pumburuti, Maji Kasue, or Kasu Tempermojuba, Dado Mojubi, Chujel, Tindilia, Tonche, Jumotabu, Tinde Kasurada, Jumotaburendo. You went to the Remido, more to a Remido, somebody. The more somebody to travel Mina. You want to tell her, Pazida, the legend Jibojawa, I know so much. What you want to Kasson. You may Chuni, Chunanga the Suda in Dusana, Colabe, Chunanga Dave, Sunindi, Kasore, Colea, Semjesha made a bridge. Colea, Kassoji, Tubashana, Col Pondraske, Omaro. On Dave Sunians of Shire. The day you are tender was dark the thing you must not want to have a mina. Jivagan, this because you got in a sort. The day you are Jivagation is so dark Zimba, Shusham was ever tell a day, you want the Mendoso. And she not a where's come from? Okay.
So, ultimately, we have this looking at the aggregates as the self. The 5 aggregates, each of them we don't say as the self, but we understand all of them together as I or self. And then we take that self or aggregated self as something very real and something very solid. And because of this, then we have like a fear that this thing that I call myself an aggregate is something that I might lose, something bad might happen to that. So therefore, the fear comes. The fear, the real true source of fear is that, the clinging to a self-identity. Because I see self as something separate, something like a whole, one thing, something that is solid.
Interdependent.
And independent, something independent. So therefore, then that independent self, I fear of losing, I fear of, being sick, something bad happening. So this is the really the source, the true source of all the fears. Now, if we can look deeply into that and see that these aggregates are not like that, not something independent, not something totally solid, not something one, but they're like an illusion. The more you see them as an illusion, interdependent, dependently arising, then maybe there is not much need to have too much fear. If you see, ourselves as or aggregates as like a reflection of the moon in the water, for instance. Now the reflection of the moon in the water does not get damaged, whatever you do. You can beat it, or you can do whatever. That doesn't really destroy. Nothing is lost. So therefore, when you understand more the interdependent and dependently arising, that kind of, you really deeply get introduced to that, deeply sees that, then there is there's less need or less reason to feel the fear.
Then you say, "You can't." How far in it? And Jira Shai Marathons. Penangazu Chunchung Kaliha. And Penankalea Gina Tick. Raw, Chuk, do ties to the sand. Tadaji Paji, Zabuni Hindaji, less sort of Jungi, Shanatsu Shungi. Tangune Shavina, Nankalea, Raw, Chuk, do ties, Digidam the Charity, Kasori, Chigila, Dane, Kasori. You can't do 10 Joarchi, Kasway. Dead Reggie Shanat Savarchi. Shanat Savasana, Dakandako, you can't 10 Joiba, Yaga Imbata, Yaga Ibenane, Uncle Kaswaji. You can't think you leading water in the sun? That means I call it Shanaja came to. After you look to coach lay in the sun, some you may have a dochi, which is some Yelan, Kunsen, some Tango Macho. Look to top job of Jazilia. To get a child, is an Semia, Nanda beyond the artist.
So the main thing is to understand clearly the causes and the effects, to really see how things are. That that is the very important kind of remedy for the fear. For instance, when I was young, when I was a child, when there is like clouds in the sky and then lightning comes and then the thunders come, I was very afraid. But then when you see clearly that how that is happening, many different things coming together, that it is summertime, there is clouds coming, and then all the different how exactly these things are happening. When you see this, when you understand this, then you know, then you don't have to be too afraid. But all these things suddenly happens and you don't know what's happening, then you have fear. So this shows that the more you understand the kind of causes and conditions and how things really are, then there's less need for fear and less reason to have fear. I think this second question sometimes looks like we are attached to something not so good and very harmful. We cannot stop doing it. I think although we know that what we are going to do or what we are attached to is very harmful, still we cannot stop doing it.
Let them go? I don't know.
Yes. Then the next question is a little bit long. How to deal with a lot of negativity experienced in my mind due to conditions in India. Physical discomfort causes mental unhappiness. I am no sooner here and I want to go back home to my comfortable environment. This attachment to comfort and cleanliness and non-pollution, crowd, noise, etc., make me feel like I am punishing myself and making myself suffer by coming to India and especially Bodh Gaya. Much back pain, headaches, stomach troubles, etc. It used to be great adventure to come to India, but now brings up more negativity than positive mind state. What to do?
Yeah. Yeah, because someone like Jazu behind you are go to what is. I already told, you know?
I already told that you had this good opportunity to come to Bihar.
Darling, I picnic Charlie, you'll be in any. Did you might have some also. Did you be in it? Just some Lumbaji, the Islas of the chance 7 and she there. Pini Tanka Yobina, one the stomach problem. I say, Sabat, damn the city side, and it can how you are. That Gemma, I say, Tari, you are the 40, go back on the Chalion, Samana, Casualty. spiritual somewhere the digi 그런 명아선에다도 초안을 드리냐 저도 용으로 저기 도 대조사 차원에서 장바다 스토마 되게 봐 가서다 충분히 이미네야 다디 그런 디기 차시엔도 디 가서 experience 용아도 디 가서에 다디 가서에 다디 용아도 지려 봐 지체 냠용도 지 랑가 냠용도 지 지체 다 배는 안 하고 좀 손에 가서에 배는 지게는 수용 주산에 아니 남주나네 용 모델나네 용 릴리나네 용 지시가 대하나시 아니 자가래야 영아래야 지 나사나다 되게 상황을 자가래 영아기베 디 전에 찍으라고 지시야 마도 지기 오늘 토야한테 대 말했어